The Love Gurus podcast is starting now. The Love Gurus are comics that bring comedic wisdom to the savages asking bizarre relationship questions on the internet. Your hosts are Suzanne Leah Shepherd and Jake Vevera. I am the Love Gurus' pet robot Cassandra. I love you.
Oh! Are we up yet? There we go. All right, we are live on the Love Gurus podcast. Thank you for waiting. Was dealing with some tech stuff, but we are happy to be here now. We are going to be answering ridiculous dating questions from the wild animals on Reddit and from you in the chat, because we are live on YouTube every single Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
And listeners, don't get upset or anything. The splatter you see in the corner is not blood. It's actually just our logo, but it does look like Jake is splattering pink blood a little bit.
It does. It does. It looks like my blood is still like it's bloody but festive. You know?
Yeah.
I like to think even when I'm dying, it's a party.
He's such a love guru that his blood is pink. You know, but here's the thing: is if your blood is actually pink, do you think that, like, let's say that you got hit by a bus and you're like bleeding out? Would people help you, or would they be like, "Holy shit, pink blood"? Like, wouldn't they'd probably just leave you?
In New York, they'd totally leave you. In
Canada,
well,
that's if there was like real blood.
They would film it and yell "World Star," and they would start dancing around you as you bled.
Yeah, but you're saying in Canada.
In Canada, take you to the hospital.
Yeah. In Canada, they would take you to the hospital. They would like sit with you. You'd wake up with a teddy bear, and they'd be like, "Okay, all right, I guess I'll go to my job now." Perfect stranger.
And now you become best friends with this person, and you spend Thanksgiving with them.
Joel on YouTube says the highlight of my week is live.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Joel. He says, if there's a splatter involving Jake, blood is the least of my worries.
Enough.
That's right. And it's not the only one of my fluids that's that color either.
Yes,
I'll let you guys guess which ones look like that.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Joel. We can't start the podcast without picturing Jake's fluids.
Yes.
Yum.
Yes. Well, I've always said that my fluids are the secret ingredient to any good podcast. and they're here now.
It's but we have two amazing guests.
We do.
That we're very excited about.
We do. First up, and they're both returning guests, but it's been a while.
It's been a while.
First up, hilarious stand-up comic. Follow her on social media. And Liz Simons, tell them where they can find you.
Yes. You can find me on all the social medias at I am Liz Simons, SIMONS. I know. And then also next Wednesday, I have to do my dates. Maybe I think it's Wednesday, September 8th. So almost not quite 2 weeks. We have our last Laugh It Up Astoria at QED. And we've been doing the longest running show. Jen Waring and I host it at QED. She's a frequent guest on this podcast also. And our beloved host, Suzanne, will also be on the show that night.
It's honestly going to be an extravaganza of a night. So Wednesday, September 8th at QED in Astoria. Definitely get involved. It's going to be, I'm
7:30 p.m. Yeah. So it's our last show ever. Come because I'm moving to Spain.
What day is it?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Moving to Spain. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, wow. You're moving?
I am. Yes.
Liz is like, I'm moving to Spain, leaving the rest of you in
the
the dust.
No, as I say, I'm doing a little eat, pray, love without the praying and the loving. Hopefully, definitely eating, maybe a little bit of praying, like let's hope a little bit loving. But I better.
But you're doing the most important thing. You're avoiding that goddamn subpoena.
That's true. I'm trying to flee the country.
Bunch of fucking liars, man. You got to flee from them.
Exactly.
And you got to go to Spain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the coolest place to avoid a subpoena.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think they're really big on, following up with the law in Spain from my
That's so cool.
from my recollection.
Don't give them any ideas.
Dude, they'll hide you, but like you gotta be able to hide fancy, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta know how to order wines at dinner. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They'll come right over to you and they'll be like, "Sir, we know you are hiding in the US and you can't not dress like that. You can't do that. You can't hide like that.
If you order the wrong jamon at a Spanish dinner, they're gonna give you up.
See, well, and it's because I'm gonna be a teaching assistant in a Spanish, like an English speaking classroom. That's why I'm going over. So the words I remember from my Espanol class, like sacapuntas, that was pencil sharpener, that was always
sacapuntas was not what I was gonna say it was, dude. That sounded dirty as fuck. That sounded like its own category of porno.
I remember that. And then lapis de labios was lipstick, and I remember un poco más, but not that much. So it's going to be really interesting. So if anyone hot from Spain wants to teach me English, or hot from any Spanish-speaking country, I'm here another month.
That's a very specific thing to remember. Sacapuntas.
Yeah.
Very global too, because I think Colombians also use that.
Well, that's what, because I mean, Santi is Latino, and when was the last time you used the word sacapuntas?
Oh, let's introduce Santi first. Another hilarious comic. Second time on the show. Follow him on socials. Santi Espinosa, thank you for being on the show. Tell us where they can find you as well.
Thank you for having me back. I was actually I was not married the last time I did this podcast.
Oh,
so
congrats!
It has been a while. Yeah.
So I got a couple years on your.
Yeah, that's true. Neither one of us were married last time you did the podcast.
They're dropping like flies.
Yeah,
the Love Gurus podcast.
And I have so many questions, and I'm happy I'm in the right place to ask those questions.
Yeah, of course.
And my marriage won't last long if my wife goes on my search bars and finds that sacapuntas thing that I just looked at. What is this? It's a pencil sharpener. You're into pencil sharpener porn? Gross.
She's a market for everything.
Yeah, it's going to ruin my marriage.
That's literally a good name. So yeah, you can go to my website, Santi Espinosa, at santiespinosa.com. You can go to my social media. Instagram is Santi.Espinosa2. And just go to my website. It's fine. And I do have shows. If you're in Astoria, I'm doing this weekly show on Fridays at 11 p.m. with Patrick Holbert and Katie Kampa.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And it's 11 p.m. It's really fun.
And is that a QED?
That's a QED.
Oh,
it's a QED.
That's
That's a QED.
nice.
That's a QED. I said Astoria. I mean, is there anywhere else you can do stand up?
Great show, great time, great venue.
It's a lot of fun. QED, go. And I also have a monthly at QED, and the first one's going to be September 9th at 7:30. So that's also in Astoria QED. Yeah. And I have a monthly at New York Comedy Club the last Friday of every month with great people from not just New York, but like all over the world. Like I got a lot of comics that come through, and
it's a great show.
Yeah, you've done it plenty.
Yeah, I loved it.
Jake is gonna have to do it. He was gonna do it, but then he had to get married. So.
I had to get married. Yeah. Dude, my wife doesn't know this. I almost left her at the altar to do your show. It's a good show.
Hey, what's the last?
I mean, I love my wife, but I love that show, and it was like they were equal. And I flipped the coin. I flipped the coin. She's lucky she was tails. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there.
I would have been like, "What you do?" But I was like, "Can you do do your thing because you're super funny."
Thank you. Likewise.
What if Jake had come to your show and been like, "Hey, Santi, can I go up first? Because I got to get to my wedding." And
I would have been. You can do 15. You can do 20. I don't care, Jake.
But then part of his brains would be like, "Dude, comics will try to fucking do any lie to try to get up earlier."
Everyone always wants to go first.
It's always, I'm being called up as a witness in El Chapo's trial, and I have to be there. It's like, what? It's 11 o'clock at night. They're not trying him now.
Yeah. But we have a great show for you today. Again, so we're getting to the tail end of summer. Labor Day is coming up quickly, and people are losing it. They're really trying to get their questions in, get their relationships sorted out before the end of the summer. Because it's crunch time now. Like between now and about the 1st of November is when you need to get in a relationship. Otherwise, it's going to be a real sad Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So, people they're desperate is what I'm trying to say.
You're right.
Do not get that
the holidays.
memo.
Liz, you're different because you have the whole hashtag moving to Spain.
I know, right? I've never been so exotic in my life.
Yeah. So you have that tag. So it's you're excluded from that rush, that holiday rush.
And I guarantee this is the weirdest thing too. People that are moving away always happen to be
I know exactly what you're saying.
I just met this guy.
Yeah.
And it's just so great.
Yeah, 100%. I can name for example, my boyfriend has a friend that he lived in Westchester for the longest time, never met someone, and was like, fuck this, I'm moving to the city. So the week before he's moving, he meets this woman that's amazing. Fast forward 7 years later, they're married with 3 kids. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so it was he moved to Brooklyn, she was in Westchester, which is basically a long distance relationship.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, but I know so many other people that's happened to.
That's such a sad story. The only way they could have got worse is if it turned out she was a Russian spy. And she ended up like she was secretly training the kids the entire time. They were like sleeper cells and they didn't even know it.
Maybe she is. It's still too early to tell. The kids are young, so you can't really like train babies.
Dude, I hope that she's a secret Russian spy.
Me too.
We got to have one of them on the show after the whole thing. But before the Netflix doc comes out, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be a good story.
It would. Yeah, it would be. I totally would believe that she's a Russian spy because when the pandemic was kicking off, there were, you couldn't get face masks anywhere. Like it was like they were sold out online. Like you just didn't know how to get them. She sewed them for us, mailed them to our house, and then sewed a bunch of others and gave them to like EMS.
She's a Russian spy.
She's totally a Russian spy.
Yeah, dude. Plus, she had that tramp stamp of Putin's face, and he asked her the first time. He was like, "Hey, who's on your back?" And she's like, "That's Daniel Craig's James Bond." And she's like, "He's like, nah, that's not Daniel Craig. That's the bad guy. That's the evil version of Daniel Craig, the one that runs Russia."
Oh my god.
Amazing. Well, I think that we should get started and start helping these savages on the internet.
Yes. First question from the wild animals on Reddit. But first, let's hear from our somewhat sort of sponsors. Do you want a delicious Pinot Grigio and a product of Italy? I think that's how you say that. Not Italy. Gamma di Luna.
All right.
You can't do better than it. Oh, dude, this is good. Yeah, it's like a nice. It's like it's in a nice Bewitched bottle. You know what I mean? It's very like 60s.
That's what we're drinking, right?
Yeah.
I know that's a stupid question, but it's fucking delicious,
dude. It's great. Gamma di Luna presents a charming, seductive wine, meticulously crafted from careful harvested Italian Pinot Grigio grapes. Very seductive. It's all like, get your dick out. We're fucking. I'm seducing you. Gamma di Luna. Perfect for everyday enjoyment. You will love how the refreshing citrus flavors and tropical fruit aromas indulge your senses. Gamma di Luna! Get you some! Now let's take
How many people you think read the fine print on anything? Like the fact that you read, like what if you actually like the most ridiculous description in any fine print? I guarantee you less than 10% of people read that shit.
But
people who do.
It will end up live on the Love Gurus podcast, so you gotta be careful. There was one wine owner confessed to a fucking crime in there. He was like, I know no one's reading this, and I'll fucking keep getting away with it. I bury them in the vineyards. You're drinking my victims. They go into the ground. And then the grapes go into you. You're drinking my victim. And then, like, we caught him. We caught him on the Love Gurus.
Oh, my God.
Because he decided to fucking put it there. Yeah, he put his, fingerprints on there. And it was crazy. It was wild.
It was a very long sting operation. But the Love Gurus were happy to help the police in that instance. So you're welcome, society.
Absolutely.
Is there any more?
I think we need more wine.
Oh, my gosh.
And we got more wine over there, too. Yeah, absolutely.
But there are people, I've read that, like, I am a pretty compulsive reader, but I don't always read the small print. But there are people I've read like that they read everything. Like if they don't have something, they will read like the McDonald's wrapper or something. Like
it's like a comfort thing. Like
they need to be want to be on their phone, so they will look for words. And
I married one of those people.
Does your wife will read everything?
Yeah, it's like, let's see what's in this tea, and I'm like, do we really have to do this?
You're like, just have a little faith in some things. Yeah,
I'm like, just trust. We paid money for this. Someone vetted the tea, honey. You can drink it.
We didn't grab it out of the trash can.
For all of my character flaws, especially in a relationship, no one has ever accused me of reading too much for my own good. It's never happened.
Yeah, if anything, it's more of like, could you read something of substance and not just like gossip columns? I'm like, no, I want to totally know what Cardi B's up to. She had the cutest catsuit on. But we should get started with our first question.
Yes. First question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, write your questions in to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. We're going to take our first one from the wild animals on Reddit.
First question. I found my partner's plan for my engagement ring in his email, and I don't like it. What do I do? I'm 27 and my boyfriend is 30. I sometimes borrow my boyfriend's tablet to watch movies on my work trips, with his permission, of course. Last night I was watching something and an email notification popped up, and I'm so embarrassed about this part because I usually am 100% respectful of his privacy. But I read the title of the email, which said engagement ring initial payment, and Pandora's box was opened.
Oh.
I was completely shocked. He's been custom designing a ring for me for the last 2 months. It clearly has so much sentimental value, and he's put so much thought into it, and I'm speechless and so grateful, but I'm also ashamed to say that I just don't like it. The stones are red and green, and I just can't get Christmas colors out of my mind. Here's the thing.
Wow.
He just sent the email approval yesterday, and so the ring hasn't been made yet. Production on it will start any time now. Would it be absolutely awful to tell him the truth and ruin the surprise that he's worked so hard on? I wish that he just asked me for what I like. But this is something that I'm going to be wearing forever. I love him so much, and I don't want to hurt him. I'm on a work trip until Monday, so I wish I could just talk to him in person, but it's clearly time sensitive. What should I do?
Which subreddit is that? Because I love Reddit.
This is from relationship advice.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm my favorite is legal advice. That shit's good.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Ooh,
It's sad
yeah.
too occasionally. More
Yeah.
than occasionally.
Oh, so is the love one.
Yeah,
We,
the relationship one gets real dark.
I mean,
quick. You have to do some digging.
I'm blown away that's the thing she found on his
I know.
tablet. I'm like, are you?
That's good.
That's a good thing. You should be happy.
Yeah, she's a very glasses half empty kind of woman. I was snooping around him. He's not cheating on me. He's buying me a wedding ring, but it's not the kind I like.
I know, but you know,
that's so crazy.
It does bring in that. But truth be told, I think I don't care about jewelry at all. I don't wear any jewelry except this. I have a little medal of Saint Anthony that was my great grandmother's. And just because it's sentimental, but yeah. That said, it is again. I mean, and I've never been married. Never been married. Everyone moving to Spain, never got me the socials. But I do. It's weird because I do think it is something that you wear every day. I wear my glasses every day, and even though a ring is much more discreet.
So what if your glasses were red and green colored?
I would not like them. And it is a weird thing because at first it's like, oh my god, she's ridiculous, but it's sort of like if a partner bought you a puppy and you didn't want a puppy. That's why I always think I wouldn't want to be surprised that I was being proposed to. I don't think it's a terrible idea for her to say something if she knows she's not going to like it.
So you're saying that when it comes to big changes like a puppy or an engagement, there should be a very clear conversation about how it's going to go down before.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I always feel a little bit like a priest giving advice, because I've never been married, but I'm a trusted person.
That priest that's in there that's
you seem highly reliable. I just met you and I could totally share anything with you.
And those are the best guys to get advice from for a relationship. Every priest I know fucks. He gives awesome advice.
They know what's up. They know what's up.
Well, you just think about something like that. First of all, I think proposals now when they're staged, I should not be seeing photographs of your proposal because that means it's staged and it's whatever. It's when I see people.
Sorry, Jake.
Oh shit! I forget this is live. This is live. I'm gonna.
She's over here giving terrible advice, by the way. Shitty advice.
You know what I mean?
Get a lifeguard to take the picture while you're doing it at the beach. That's
different.
The move.
But you know what I'm talking about? The people that the entire thing is just to put.
The
ones
that media. And to post oh my god, I have this fresh manic
I said yes, and it's the most her hands are all done. It's you didn't.
I think it also it certainly depends on who it is because let's say for example Tinsley Mortimer, former socialite, former Real Housewife of New York.
Can you imagine having that job description?
Her when she got engaged, it was this whole thing, and she's like, oh my god, I'm so surprised. It's no, you're not. There's clearly a production crew around this proposal. It's not a surprise. I mean, you do you. That's great. And it is very cute. And there is a part of it that does give me hope about the world in general. But it's obviously
you know what?
staged.
They're not engaged anymore. And I think
totally aren't.
And I think that's the point when I think it's different if it's a spontaneous, but you know what I mean? These pictures, that the whole idea is that I'm doing this so that other people can look at it. Yeah. And so, but back to the ring, it's kind of if you don't like your, an engagement, I feel shouldn't be a surprise no matter how old you are. You should, maybe the timing can be a surprise, but
Liz, you're ruining a lot of proms right now.
Oh God, are they already getting engaged at proms? But the idea is that you would want it, and maybe that's just because I'm older, but.
Joel on YouTube says, Liz, I've been married a couple times. It's not that big a deal.
I know, but
yeah.
and clearly a good record.
So Santi, when you guys got engaged, what was, was it that you got a ring? Did she know what it looked like before?
I was just gonna say people should do what I did, which is I was doing stand up in London, and
very posh.
And yeah, that was fun. She came with me. It was it was expensive, so I wish she wouldn't come. But
Dick Jokes in London is my favorite love song by Warren Zevon.
Oh yeah.
So we're there, right? And I'm like we're best friends, and we're in London. I'm like, we're not going to be here for the next 10 years, so I got to make a move. Like I have to do something. So we were going after a night out of like shows and drinking. We happened to be in that London, like the Piccadilly Circus area. And we just had like some food, and I had like some paper in my pocket. So I got it. Sorry, I hit the mic. I made a little ring, and then I gave it to her. And I'm like, and in the middle of the thing, I was like, will you marry me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're not fucking for real, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, yes.
Aww,
so
that's
I knew that she was like half, like she thought I proposed. So when we got back to the hotel, I changed my status to engaged.
Oh, shut.
And then she went to sleep. And then she
thought you did it for the bit?
Yeah.
She was like, that's romantic. He wants to be, will you marry me? His get her done.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's actually going to want to marry me. I love that.
I don't understand. Like, maybe it's because I sometimes have trouble falling asleep. I would never be able to just go to sleep not knowing, did he actually just propose?
No, that's like a hard. She thought I was joking. I'm going to show her I'm not joking. if this status change gets more than 500 likes, we're getting married.
Right. So yours was, if this status gets, there's the one.
500 likes is a lot.
Yeah. If this status gets
1,000, I'm like, we gotta get married.
Oh my God. You can't
private.
No, it was like when you change your status for like, oh, I'm engaged.
No, I know, but did you do it a public one?
Yeah,
or
a public one. Yeah,
or just friends only.
No, people were texting like her mom, like people, family were like, "What's happening?"
Shut up, that is.
And
hilarious.
then she was angry, but then she was kind of like, "So you didn't mean what you said?" I'm like, "Yeah, I always didn't want to say."
I love that. You're like, listen, we can't disappoint our fans, so we're getting married, right? And she's like, well, I guess. Like,
yeah, she already knew like we were gonna do it, but it was like that moment of like she didn't. It was kind of like, I'm going to do something crazy, so that she gets the point that I mean it. Like I want to be with. Like we had talked about it for the whole weekend. We were just talking about getting married.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like that crazy of a surprise. But what I did was like, she's like, oh my God, I never thought you would do something like that.
Yeah. So, it took it like a bit. She didn't quite grasp what was really the gravity of the situation.
So for this guy, whoever's asking the question, I think my takeaway is you shouldn't. I mean, like I get it. Like you should be able to make big choice, like getting like a ring that's probably thousands of dollars. You should talk to your fiance, like your girlfriend about it.
Yeah.
Like, but I think she should just let it be and I feel bad for the dude because it sounds like it's going to be a really, tough marriage.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's almost like that isn't indicative of another thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not so much the ring, but if that's going to be
like you're saying,
issue,
they don't have open communication.
Yeah. It's like kind of like, if this is a thing, what's going to happen when like you're married and there's like
and
others.
There's real conflict. And like,
so Amy on YouTube and frequent guest of the show says, just say yes and then tell him every year you have to add a diamond because it's tradition. And
that's actually a great idea.
Joel on YouTube says Dick Jokes in London. I'd have sworn that was a Gordon Lightfoot song, my Chippewa friend.
I keep forgetting.
Who's Joel? I like this dude. I like him.
Yeah.
Dude, Joel's great, man.
Awesome.
He's a regular.
It does make me think also they're very young, and so
they're 27 and 30. I mean, they're not like babies.
Well, no. But what I mean by young is it's like they're not like you're gonna make more money as you get older. So like if they don't get a nice ring at 27, you know what I'm saying? Like you can get, because I hear like a lot of people, they get married like under 30. Remember, just tell me that's still young, because if that's old,
no, it's young. It's young.
I'm not saying that they aren't young, but I'm just saying like we're not talking about. Like,
no. But I'm saying in terms of like caring about the ring, like you have plenty. Like I think about where I was 27 and now where I am at 28. Oh, sorry, 28. And much better off.
So, but here, I was just gonna say one last thing is that being married for now like over 3 years, almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. Like I'm counting the years.
That's 3 decades in comic years, by the way. He's aging well. This marriage.
Listen, I gotta be honest. Marriage is hard, and when you have when you're thinking about the ring rather than the dude, that's not. I mean, my gut feeling is like that's not gonna last.
So you're sort of saying that she's so repulsed by the ring because she doesn't really want to marry.
I could have given my girlfriend, like my wife at the time, I could have given her like a plastic bag, be like, will you marry me? And she'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
My fiance's engagement ring came from a goddamn Captain Crunch Bar.
Do you know how many crunch berries that Jake had to eat to get that ring? He sacrificed for that woman.
It's crunch diamond, baby. It's crunch diamond.
It's crunch diamond. Had to say, well, it's also this interesting idea that the problem is that she saw it. So now she's projecting and imagining. Imagine if she just got it. How differently would she feel? And this brings me back. It's the idea of like, online dating versus real person dating. It's like a friend not to change the subject, but it's kind of the same idea. It's like ordering from a menu versus eating what your grandmother serves you. So she's now has this idea what she wants her ring, and on the menu she would not have ordered that. But if he just gave that to her, she might be like, oh my God, this is the most heartfelt thing. So it's like we convince ourselves that we want a certain thing. And that's why I think we're all fucking miserable.
Yeah, you're right. That's
because
deep.
I don't know. I feel like I've told the story on the podcast before, but I know a person who she got engaged and her ring was awful. Like to the point where everyone was like, ooh, and she just was like, well, this is my lot in life. I guess this is what I get. Yeah. So I guess that sort of like is your point of that. Had she not seen it and she still really wanted to marry him, she kind of wanted.
That's true. Yeah, it's like that Dolly Parton song, "Engagement Ring of Many Colors," and that was kind of the point of it.
Imagine the end of that story is that the ring wasn't for her.
I know.
Yeah.
We need to go on Reddit. Yeah.
But here's what's
was for that bitch Jolene. Damn you, Jolene.
Yeah.
Stop stealing my man.
Dude, Jolene, straight up. But here's what's very, she's very clear about saying things like, I'm so respectful of his privacy. This was such an accident. I would never see this. Oh my God. There's something about that seems fishy. It's almost like it's almost like she found out another way, but she wants the verification from the internet to say, yes, tell him about that, about the ring. So then she sort of like pads this. I'm not saying it's untrue, but she sort of pads this backstory by saying it was such an accident that I happened to just be in his email snooping around. Usually I'm looking for emails from Tina, but this time I found the engagement ring confirmation. What do I do? And it's kind of like it, but again, like I agree with you, Liz, and the fact that she saw it. And so now she just wants to have more control of it. And it's like a sign of bigger problems in the relationship that she definitely seems like a controlling person. 100%.
I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking at first. And I still do think that, because I think the worst of most of the people that write the questions, just from a starting point.
Of course.
A, they're on Reddit. B, we try to point this out every week. These questions are these people's pro-them propaganda. It's a source by for and about them. It's them. Yes, it's pro-them. It's their own personal Fox News, their MSNBC, their North Korean state-run news if they inherited the entire country, right? Yeah. So when they leave out details, I'm like, well, this is, but she really did genuinely seem like, I feel like I'm being shallow about this. I really do think a lot of this was just about the ring, but she's really just, how do I fucking tell it to this guy? Because A, I'm spoiling the surprise because I know that I'm getting married.
Yeah.
But it's also like he's kind of a fucking idiot for having this on a thing that he learned popping up.
She's not
But-
just bursting his balloon. She is like hijacking
Right.
a hot air balloon over Kenya. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a small disappointment.
She is kneeling his surprise engagement down in front of a camera for ISIS Johnny to fucking take it out, man. That's what she's doing if she
Also,
says
let
it.
me tell you, this dude, he sounds like a loser. He gives her
he sucks.
the iPad or the tablet, and there's no porn on the tablet, like,
Right.
and it's just an engagement.
Yeah, there's
like,
very
it's
Yeah,
like-
he does it hidden porn. What is it over a separate view? Like,
I mean, you can have multiple
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I'm like, come
He
on.
deletes his browser history, but it's just not with the wedding ring shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. The guy sounds fishy too.
Yeah.
It's well, you know, to be fair, she didn't find his pencil sharpener porn. You know what I mean? She didn't find the Spanish his pencil parts, but yeah, she didn't find his
That's
right. She didn't find any of that. She didn't find that lady didn't pop up. You know,
Yeah.
I know that lady. I know that lady.
Yeah.
I subscribe to her OnlyFans. That's right. But here's what I think. Here's her only way out of this, and it's going to involve lies. You know, any good marriage,
Yeah.
I feel, should be built on a foundation of lies. And so,
lies, yeah.
yes, good lies. And so here's what you do. One of two things. You can either do it the simple way. We can either do like smash and grab way, just kicking in the door and just making it happen. You get a friend of yours to get just a number that he doesn't know and straight up text him, you're buying an ugly ring.
Ooh.
You know?
good one.
You're buying an ugly ring. And he's just, who the fuck is this going to? Is he going to ask her? No, he's not. He's not going to fuck up the surprise.
Yeah.
Right?
But you
Or,
might get a second opinion. Yeah.
well, because here's the thing.
Oh, this is a good one.
I got my
Brilliant.
fiance
That's fucking
a
brilliant.
ring
That's a
that
great
she
idea.
likes, and not because she's lying to me. She would lie to me about this because
We
she's
think.
a good woman, you know, like she's not a shallow piece of shit like the lady writing this question. I married a good one, unlike this fucking sad. So, but here's the thing: is she didn't have to worry about that because her best friend, who did the ceremony, by the way. She took her sort of like pretend ring shopping with
Okay.
oh, hey, I'm getting a necklace fixed. Come with me to get my necklace fixed at the jeweler. Oh my God, these are cute rings. What type do you like? And just sneakily found out what type of, and then she took me to the store and was like, all right, dude, I did it. She doesn't suspect this, but this is the shit that she said.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you're going to help me lie to your best friend, my wife? And she's like, yes. I was like, you're cool with our relationship being built on a mountain of lies that you helped me create?
man.
And she's like, yes. I was like, that's so nuts. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever
That
done for their
is
So
friend.
that's
wonderful.
a good thing. That's what
Yes.
I would if I'm dating someone, I would introduce them to my best friend with good taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
because that's what you do.
That's the move. So
Now,
you
definitely.
either got to get one of his friends to kind of just somebody, bro, you ain't gonna give her that fucking ring. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's Christmas colors. Everybody's gonna call her a fucking idiot. You know
Santa
what I mean?
doesn't
Like,
care about engagements. Come on.
yeah, you get one of his guy friends to just be like, hey, this is an ugly fucking ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's gonna look like an
Although
idiot.
she sounds like she's not friends with this dude's friends, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But
but that's a brilliant way of going around
like,
it.
bro, my chick was watching Desperate Housewives the other day, and one of those sad bitches got a ring that looks just like that, and the rest of those mean bitches made fun of her so much that the bitch cried.
Terry Hatcher
Just- just-
totally.
Oh my God,
Some
that's
shit
good
like
husband. That's
It
a
looked
real-
just like that ring, but expensive and better, dude. Like, you don't want to get her that shit.
What a relevant pop culture reference.
Yeah.
Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But yeah, no,
that was on point.
Yeah, for my final advice, I for once 100% agree with Jay. Yeah,
Yeah.
get someone
Yeah.
else to text him and just
Yeah.
be like, dude, don't do it. Not with that ring.
Yeah, that's the best advice.
It is. Yeah, it's perfect.
Joel on YouTube says Jake has a point. Every good marriage is built on lies. Every one of mine have been built that way. 100%.
That's why they're so fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good
Well,
for
should we?
you,
Yeah,
Joel.
should we? I think we answered that question. Should we move on to our next one?
Yes. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast. People write your questions in to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. Or even better, watch every single Thursday live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Talk to us in the questions. Comment. Tell us to go fuck ourselves. We don't care. Or ask the questions. But we are going to take another question from the wild animals on Reddit.
Next question. Is my friend trying to set me up with her dad? My friend Haley and I are both.
How much more wholesome was that last lady than this? What? Jesus Christ.
My friend Haley and I are both 21, and I don't know if I'm just imagining things, but lately I've been thinking, getting the feeling that she wants me to date her dad, who's 49. He's been divorced for about 5 years, and I know him well. Haley and I have been friends since high school, so I spent lots of time over at his house. They have a pool, so basically that's where our friend group spends every summer. A couple months ago, Haley started...
I know this sounds bad, and I don't want to sound shallow, but A, my boyfriend brought me an ugly ring, so I kind of don't want to marry him anyway. B, dude's got a pool. I like pools.
A couple months ago, Haley started talking about how she needs to find a girlfriend for her dad because he hasn't been dating since the divorce. Since the divorce? Was he dating during the divorce? What? Okay. She's spending the summer
Dude, the dad whose daughter sets him up with her friends, this guy does a lot of things before the papers dry.
100%
you know what I mean?
They smoke meth together.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Okay. She's spending the summer with her dad, and last week she invited me over for dinner. She said that she'll cook and it'll just be the two of us. When I arrived, she told me that her father had gotten home early, so he'll eat with us. Just as we were about to sit down, she gets a call. It's an emergency, and her mom needs her because the babysitter canceled, so Haley had to go watch her little brother last minute. I offered to go with her.
Joanna YouTube says, do it for the pool. Fuck yeah.
I mean, Jill's got a point.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that was Joanne on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Joanne's got a point.
Yeah.
So I offered to go with her, but she told me that I had to stay and have dinner with her dad. So we did. We had dinner, just the two of us. Then yesterday I was at their house again, swimming in the pool, and all of a sudden Haley realizes that she needs to go to the store because she needs something for dinner. She asks her dad to come out to the pool so that I wasn't alone. So there I was in my bikini chatting with her dad.
Her last name is Sheen. Run, he's unclean.
She took her sweet time at the store, and when she arrived, she said, I hope you two had fun. And then during dinner, she mentioned our common interests multiple times. She would say, Nat, did you know that my dad likes horror movies too? Or, Dad, did you know that Nat wants to go to France one day? You've been there. Yeah, tell her about it.
Real question.
That's weird, man.
So
That's
am I
fucking
crazy, or do you guys think she wants to set us up too?
That sounds like the plot for like a porn. You know, like
or a Lifetime. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really creepy.
It's so much darker when it's on Reddit than Pornhub. You know, this would have been so much more fun if it was just on Pornhub.
Yeah.
I love Reddit, but that's how I know it's real because I've read some crazy ass shit on Reddit. We're allowed to swear. I've been swearing. No,
we're talking about dads fucking their daughter's friends, but it's a family friendly one. I want kids to be able to watch this content.
No, but it is an interesting thing because I go, my take, that's gross. And it makes me think it is weird that the friend would do that. And it makes me think what is going on with their relationship that she'd be okay with her. You know, like I'm not saying her father.
Well, okay, here's my hot take. Okay, so they're both 21. You know, it's kind of like, you know, dad got divorced. You know, he's got the fun house. He's got the house with the pool. We don't know if it's an in-ground pool or an above-ground inflatable pool. We have no idea.
Difference. That makes
anyway, but so he's got the fun house. They have the pool. She spends a lot of time there. She's kind of like, oh, that's weird that we had this weird dinner, just me and her dad. Yet she still goes over there all the time. You know, she's kind of like,
hey, that's a good point.
She thought, if you were creeped out by someone's dad, like, why would you continue to go over there? Like, I've definitely had friends where I was kind of like, I don't necessarily like her mom, and so I just don't go over to their house.
But the mom is the different. Also, I have friends back in the day who dated older men, and the point is when you're young, it's not on, and 21 is not a teenager, granted, but it's still very young, and it's not on you to know that an older person
that your friend is grooming you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because it's flattering. Like, I remember going to
friends don't groom other friends. I heard Dr. Phil said that one. She's not a real friend if she's grooming you for her 57-year-old father.
You sound like him. You do.
That's good. That's a good impression.
But it is because I remember being a freshman in college and one of my friends who she was like not from America, so she was very sophisticated, but we were both freshmen, and she was dating a grad student in the business school, and she took me to a Halloween party. And they probably, not that I looked, but they probably assumed we were older because we were at this party, and they were kind of flirting with me, and of course it was flattering. But yet now looking back, if like a 27-year-old
No,
wanted,
but you're
I'm gonna
a
grab
grad
mine.
student. Like, how old? Can
well,
a grad
it was business
student?
school. It was the business school.
Oh, okay.
So business school is different
Yeah.
than like.
Okay. Like,
But still, I was 18. Like, there's a
Yeah.
huge difference between like 25 and 34 than 18 and 27.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so I think the idea is that I could understand why the friend would go over her house because
Because they have a pool. She
they
said
have a
it.
pool.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not weird, but why? The question for me is why would the one who wrote it? What was her name or whatever?
We don't know. We just know that
Haley's
the friend
and
is
is Haley,
the friend
right?
is Haley. Yeah.
So what's going on between Haley and her dad? That is the relationship that I think is weirder. Was
Wait.
it kind of
Whoa, Liz, please tell me that you're not implying that there's some sort of like incest swinger
No, no,
situation
no.
going on.
not
Like,
not incest, not at
hey,
all.
Dad, want to swing with my best friend?
The father and the daughter have an open relationship.
No, I watched you. I definitely don't think it was incest. I don't think it's incest, but why is her? I think maybe why is she okay with setting up her friend? Like, has she dated some of her father's friends? You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's something
there's
behind.
some
Yeah, I see what you
boundaries
mean,
that have
yeah.
been blurred.
Yeah, like there's got to be like when you're openly grooming your friend.
Yeah.
I mean, either the dad bought her a PlayStation 4. I don't know. Like, there's something really. I mean, that's
I hope it wasn't even a 5. I hope it wasn't even the most recent PlayStation.
So
She's just kind of on board with whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, you wanted me to? I would have just done it if you asked me nicely. But I like presents. I like prizes. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm with you though. I think that there's a dynamic, there's a chemistry with the dad and the daughter it makes this not weird.
okay,
Yeah.
here's what I think.
But it is totally weird.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I'm not saying it's normal by any means. However, again, as we pointed out, that the question is always there pro them propaganda. This girl's 21. Her life experience is basically nil except for high school, right?
Yeah.
And how I read the question is like, oh my God, do you like seriously think that like my friend is trying to set me
Yeah.
with her dad? Whereas her friend these might be genuine things. Like, you know, she gets this emergency call. She has to run over to her
Yeah.
mom's house and she's like, oh, but you guys say, you know, oh, you know, she likes horror movies, you know, and she just kind of like panics and leaves. Or then it's like, oh, we've got to go. Like, you know, this is a friend, you know, maybe this girl kind of never had a dad. And so the friend is thinking, well,
Yeah.
my dad is totally normal and cool. He has a pool. Why isn't my dad can be like her surrogate dad? You know, like
I hope the dad looks like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And he's got stuff together. And
Yes!
and the girl writing the question is like Tina from Bob's Burgers. I think this hot Brad Pitt guy is totally hitting on me. Do you think Kristen's dad wants to go? And the Brad Pitt guy is like, dude, I'm trying to be nice to my daughter's friend, but like she's
Yeah.
fucking weird. She creeps me out. She smells like cheeseburgers all the time. I don't know what her fucking problem is. Why she got a mustache when
but
she's in high
I'm in
school?
my bikini. Yeah, put a fucking towel around your
That's
waist.
funny.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. And it is, I totally agree. And that's why I also think that clearly this 21-year-old probably has some kind of, the one who
Psychological
wrote it,
issues.
with some kind of issues. Maybe she was sexually abused. Maybe I'm doing a
Oh
lot of
wow! Didn't know you
well,
were going to
because
go there.
if her first reaction, like if you said like it was a totally normal thing, that this was a person that he's just being a nice, a friend.
I don't know. I've watched Euphoria, and teenagers
Everyone.
are a lot different than they
Yeah, but
were in my
you know what?
day.
I've seen American Pie, and I was in college when it happened. And that was about, you know what? That was the thing that I never bought about American Pie. It came out when I was in 20 years old, summer of '99, and I was still a virgin. I can't believe I just said this. I forget this a lot. And
Don't feel bad. I wasn't a virgin at 20, but I did have sex with a pie. So.
but it's this idea that like everyone, like, first of all, Chris Klein's character would
Yeah.
not have been a virgin. If he would, he wouldn't have been mocked for it. You know, he would have kept
Yeah.
it quiet. And two, like, that's not, I mean, I went to public high school. Like, people did not, people didn't mock you for not having, I mean, I know it
Yeah.
was many years ago, but it was like the idea is that even then, the way that pop culture portrayed sex among teenagers was just not accurate. And so
That's
I
true. We
feel
didn't
like-
bully them. We just ignored the kids that wasn't fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We was busy fucking. We was too busy fucking to bully the kids. that
What you
wasn't
doing? Fucking.
fucking.
I guess
Do you wanna
they
go-
don't want to do the fucking. So it's okay. We're just over here fucking ourselves, but you guys don't want the fucking. Okay.
I remember that's sometimes a friend of mine would be like, "Hey, you want to go bully the kid that's not getting laid?" I'm like, "No, I'm getting laid. I'm getting laid. I don't
need to. It's like, I gotta start looking here because that's how I'll remember this is live. But that's the idea. Like, I think sometimes if you're either like very experienced or not, like you project a lot, and so you think like, I don't know. But I think that the idea is that maybe something I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm with you because like I wouldn't be surprised if she actually like in the thing she would have said like, I'm trying to get my best friend with my dad. He's actually not that bad at sex. Like something weird like that where you're like, wow, like there is
something
incest.
That's very clearly
like she doesn't sound like a normal.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. She sounds like maybe she and her father do have kind of a boundless relationship of some sort, like not like incestual, of course, but like there's certain like blurred boundaries that are kind of weird.
The mom is not dead. He got a divorce. It's not like if she had been dead, I would have given her a little more credit. There's a divorce, so like there's actual like something beyond.
Something's happened.
Right.
I mean, because obviously she doesn't. Yeah, no, you're bringing up an excellent point because she doesn't say why they got divorced. She wasn't like, oh, he got divorced because he was peeping into old women's houses.
Yeah, if she goes like, my dad was in love with my mom and he took care of her through cancer and she died and he's a wonderful human being and my best friend is like,
oh yeah, definitely have sex with cancer, Dad.
Up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's cancer, Dad.
Oh my God,
everyone wants to fuck cancer, Dad.
Like, so what, cancer, Dad?
He's got a 6-pack, even though he grieved a dead lady like 6 months ago.
Cancer, Dad, who has a pool? Like,
yeah.
I'm just mourning in my pool, letting the sun glisten off of all of my, jacked muscles and veiny arms.
Oh my God, it's kind of turned me on. Where's cancer, Dad? I'm age appropriate for him. Straight up. I don't need my own kids anymore. It would be
Liz is going to move to Spain and meet Spanish cancer, Dad. That's going to be
It's funny how as you get older,
they call him El Cancer Poppy there. He's great. Joel on YouTube says, does Haley's friend have a name and number asking for a friend that's not married to my wife? He says Pornhub bad.
Yeah.
X videos good, no viruses, or so I've heard. Joel just says, thank God you said 57, Jake. I'm only 54. I almost felt pervy for a second. He said, let's see. Dad promised me a Super Nintendo if I bang you. Come on, Super Mario 3 is the bomb.
That's actually a really good point. It's the nostalgia. Yeah.
Worst wing woman ever is what Amy on YouTube says. Joel on YouTube says, geez, Liz, way to make me feel like a perv, by the way. Does the friend have a name and number or not? Asking for a non-perv friend that isn't married to my wife.
Pro perv as long as it's consensual and legal.
Oh, stop being a prude.
There's nothing worse than a prudy perv, am I right?
You got to go full blown.
This guy is giving pervs a bad name. Nothing wrong with being a little bit of a pervert.
Yeah. So here's my final advice to this person is look, there are certainly some things that seem weird. You have obviously are indicating that you feel uncomfortable because you mentioned the fact that you're in the pool. So my advice is quit fucking going over to the pool. Summer's almost over. You're gonna get over it. It's gonna be fine. You can find another pool.
But maybe she's in Vegas.
No, I don't care. You just you need to figure out get your bathtub filled up. Something else. Stop going over to the pool. And stop using that as your beard for this weird relationship that you're cultivating with her dad. If you do feel that, and then if time goes on and he starts dating some other woman and you realize, oh wow, I was just being crazy, then next summer hit that pool.
Yeah.
It is funny how both cases you took me from one side to the other. Because the idea is, I actually got the impression that both maybe like now I think the person who wrote it probably has issues from her past. Not just, you know what I'm saying? That she's projecting she's assuming the worst because I'm someone who assumes the worst too. So I get it.
It would be a weird coincidence. Like if the question was, is my friend's creepy dad trying to fuck me? All right.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
no,
like
it's
if it's like,
true.
is my creepy friend who's my age and also a girl trying to set me up with also her creepy dad who's all it's
Yeah,
like it's
too
wait
many-
a second.
Yeah,
This
Too many
is
stats.
so-
Too many
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah, it's like when you have like a tweaker friend who's been up for days and they think everything is the cops following them. There's helicopters following me. It's like, dude, you sell 8 balls. They don't send. It takes $10,000 of helicopter fuel for
I
them.
don't care
They're
about your
not gonna
money.
spend 10 grand in helicopter fuel and rappel out of it to go red team. This is blue team. We have $200 in crank. We caught the $200 with crank guy.
Big
Coming
score for
back
the
to
night,
base.
fellas.
Yeah. Don't tell them what we spent on helicopter fuel. We've been bombing at our budget. We're way over our budget for helicopter fuel.
Yeah, I like I said. So that's my final advice. What final advice do you guys have for this one?
Oh, Joel on YouTube says Suzanne nailed it. Next summer, hit that pool.
Hit that pool.
Don't forget the don't forget the transparent when wet bathing suit. Otherwise, your friend ain't getting PS5.
Gotta take
That's
one for the team. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so any other final advice for this person?
I think you nailed it.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all right. Well, you know,
No,
again,
I mean, I had elaborate advice for the next one. This one's simple, and I barely ever do I give the same advice to a a person writing a question on the show and a comic who happens to be on the show. But I think that this lady should move to Spain and hang out in the cancer wards. You know what I mean? Pick one fresh off the vine. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Me amo cancer
Yeah.
Me amo cancer papi.
El Cancer Poppy.
Cancer
Yeah.
Papi, dude, that's a catchy name.
Uh-huh.
Cancer Papi.
Right. But you introduce yourself. You start grooming El Cancer Poppy when he's still just El Stage 4 Poppy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just kind of waiting on that.
El
And you're just
remission
like,
puppy.
oh, yeah. I mean, you don't come on strong. You're just like, oh, yeah, your wife's got, I hope she makes it. Man, my name's Liz. By the way. You know what I mean? Yeah, my name's Haley. My
Soy
name,
me llamo Isabel.
Uh-huh. Boom.
Espanol accente.
Yeah. That's the move.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
great.
I'm
That's the
very
move.
smooth.
Yeah.
You're gonna be single for like a week
Oh
in
my God.
Spain.
Oh, if
Yeah.
even.
A
Yeah.
semana. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's a semana.
Una semana and
Yeah.
you know, Rico Papi, Cancer Papi, whatever.
Yeah. El Stage 4 Poppy. But he's just a caterpillar now. He's just a sad caterpillar. After she's gone, he's going to blossom into the butterfly that he will one day become.
Oh, man.
Doing the Lord's work. He's healed in more ways than one in that scenario.
Yes. And it's funny because your friends are going to be coming up to you going, hey, we want to like meet some dudes. Maybe you want to go out to this
Yeah.
bar we heard about. You're still meeting dudes at bars. Fucking rookies.
Yeah.
Let's go to the hospital.
Let's hit the hospital.
Yeah.
Let's hit the hospital. Perfect. Well, I think we answered that question.
Absolutely. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast. Also, drinking another wine. This one's delicious. It is Scarpetta Pinot Grigio. It is, where's this one from? Oh, also Northern Italy. Let's see. Scarpetta makes everyday wine special. We travel to Northern Italy to preserve flavors. Preserve. That's how you know the wine's working. We pursue the flavors and aromas that reflect the history and tradition of these winemaking regions. Our Pinot Grigio blends and flavors of white wines, honey, and pear while remaining dry to the palate. It is perfect if you're hanging out in the cancer ward trying to meet dudes who are hot. Do you need an El Cancer Puppy?
El Cancer Puppy.
Yes. Lavender and peach fragrances, balanced and subtle minerals finish in a fresh and lively experience. Perfect for El Cancer Puppy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who knew that wine would be so on point for
Yes.
my situation?
Yeah, seriously.
I mean,
Yeah,
Sounds
and
like a good,
it's Scarpetta Pinot Grigio. It's got a pig on the front, right? Yeah, just going after, digging for cancer poppies like truffle pigs, you know? That's what this wine's all about. Haley from the last question, get some part Scarpetta Pinot Grigio. It's actually really good, too.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
really good. Both really good.
I actually like this one better than the last one, man. It's
Cancer
like
Papi's winning.
it's
yeah.
drier. Yeah, see, this is, yeah. The last one was good, but it's not going to make the guy forget about his fucking wife, you know? That one will.
Amazing.
All right. Get you some. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast.
Next question. My ex turned up drunk last night, and tomorrow is his wedding day. Should I tell his soon-to-be wife? I was with my ex for 2 years.
Also, real quick, I'm going to kill those mics, and then I got to fix something on the mics while you read the questions.
Oh, okay.
Seamlessly
Fix something on the mics. So next question. My ex turned up drunk last night, and tomorrow's his wedding day. Should I tell his soon-to-be wife? I was with my ex for 2 years. It was not the best relationship, and we broke up because I moved to university, and I just didn't want to be with him anymore. It's been almost 5 years since we broke up, and I'm now engaged to someone else. Yesterday evening at around 11 p.m., my ex rang up to the doorbell drunk. His bachelor party was in the area that I live in, and he wanted to see me. When my fiance opened the door, my ex just started sobbing, saying that he couldn't believe my fiance was real. We took him into the apartment because he didn't seem dangerous, just vocally vomited before he actually vomited onto our bathroom. What I could gather was that he was still very hurt because of our breakup, and that he thinks that we could have really made it work, and he regrets treating me badly. He then threw up again, and so we called him an Uber back to our hotel. It was so surreal, and he was fine. We fed him waffles and coffee to sober him up, and told him to write us when he was in the hotel to make sure that he didn't die or something. I was left with a weird feeling, almost dirty. Should I contact his soon-to-be wife? Or should I call him to encourage her to tell his fiance that he came to my house? Or should I do nothing?
That's a tough. I wonder how old they are.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Reddit is that people are very good about...
It's kind of an old question. It's from a few weeks ago. And let me just say, Linda, thank you for doing me a solid and shutting the fuck up about this.
Although having read, because I go on legal advice. That's the best fucking Reddit subreddit. I was a late bloomer to Reddit and other things, but most of the people I notice are very young on that particular one, because they'll say I'm in high school and they ask all sorts of weird advice, and it's sometimes very sad, but that's not your podcast. So I assume
we filter through the ones to where it's like, oh, she's clearly in R. Kelly's basement right now. This is fucked up.
We're not. This podcast is the intention of this podcast is not to incriminate us by being some sort of
I didn't mean it like that. I meant more like they're not like even like what I'm saying. Don't worry. But I do think that it's an injury because part of me is like, of course, don't say anything. Nothing happened. It's none of your bit. I think about because it doesn't like if they were under 30, I would almost say something because maybe they feel pressure to get married because they're younger. I don't know. Yeah. But I do feel like I think about if I were in the reverse. Because this always happens, right? You always hear someone cheats on someone, whatever, and you always say, as a friend, what do I say? And usually the advice is don't say anything, stay out of it.
Yeah.
But then I always think if I were in a situation where my partner did something really horrible, or maybe not so horrible, but did something that was clearly in violation of the relationship, would I want to know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Because if it was a one-off, was he? But I mean, you think like.
No, just like that was a long way to go for you to just at the end say, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that I would, if it was something that I think, if it was just a drunk thing and no hooking up happened, I'm apt to think, okay, he was drunk, maybe got sentimental.
So the fact that he basically was on her doorstep crying, saying he thought that their relationship could have made it, so they didn't physically hook up, but you're saying that could just be like a drunken rant on his part.
Well, and also because she is engaged. I think if she weren't engaged, it would have been worse. But I think that I don't know. I'm assuming he knew she was engaged. So maybe he also knew.
No, he knew that she was engaged. And when her fiance opened the door, the ex started sobbing, saying that he couldn't believe her fiance was real.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I missed the whole question. Then, like, I'm wondering in my head.
So okay, so here's a quick recap. So they dated, and then she left. She left to go to university. So,
Why
this is like
Canadian?
They were like young.
Canadian. Yeah. I watched Degrassi.
I missed the part where the fiance was there, where like her dude was there.
So
she's lucky he didn't murder him with if I fucking opened the door and one of my wives, a few weeks ago, some dude, it was real. Like, yeah, tell him to come in. Wow. I would be chopping him up. I would be chopping him up and putting sprinkling his body in fucking garbage bags around Astoria, Queens.
Yeah,
I mean, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
right. And I would do it more jacked than I am now. You know what I mean? I would be like cancer dad bod. It would be amazing.
Rico Poppy.
Yeah, I'd have El Rico Poppy bod. El Rico Poppy. New scent by Johnny Depp.
But yeah, so the ex showed up at the door. Her fiance opened the door, but he was so inebriated that they brought him inside just because they obviously couldn't, send him out into the world.
I would have sent him out in the world. No, I mean, maybe in one piece, but if he started fucking talking shit like he did, I would have beat the man unconscious at the very least, and then fucking just throwing him out on the street. Fuck him.
I think
I probably agree with that.
Let him die. I don't give a shit. Let him fucking die.
It is interesting here from the man's perspective, because I'm looking at it from both sides, like the woman that is going to marry this guy, and the woman. And if one of my exes would have done it, Amy would have murdered her with a hammer. Like, that's just both. Things would have happened.
That's a funny thing, because I'm like a better person. I don't know. I don't think he's a better person. But
you better person than Jake.
I used to be
extreme. Joel says here, Jake, if you need some lime, I know a guy.
Like, I used to be very insecure, very jealous about little things.
Yeah.
And something like that would have really made me very angry.
That's not a little thing. That's a big thing.
Oh, I know. That's true.
That's murder with the hammer and chop him up.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's also engaged.
But he's engaged. Yeah. But here's the thing, though.
They're both engaged to different people, right?
Yeah. So hear me out. Like, the thing is that now that maybe because I'm married and like I know that we love one another, like I really don't feel the same way about her exes anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna murder a man with a hammer because I'm just kind of into my wife.
There's a commitment to preserve.
Hear me out. Like, this is where it brings perspective to me, because I used to hate my wife's boyfriend.
Yeah.
I would get angry whenever she said the dude's name or whatever. Really? I used to get really angry.
Yeah.
But I never met the dude in person.
Yeah.
But then, like, we are married, we're both having a nice meal in Montreal, right? Like, we're like chilling there. And then the dude is with his girlfriend having like a meal next to us.
No.
So my wife is like, don't say anything. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on? It's like, my ex is right there.
Oh, wow.
And like, part of me is like, what?
Also, his chick's ring kind of looks better. That doesn't have that stupid red and green thing that you bought me.
But you know what? Like, I was like, okay, and I'm like, why do you care? I thought, like, what? It doesn't. But I'm like, this is a weird thing about the part of the evolution of the marriage. Is like, part of me was like, I want to make a good impression. Like,
on the ex,
no, on the dude, on the my wife's ex-boyfriend. I wanted to be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, like, you wanted to be the bigger guy.
Yeah, and I genuinely wanted. I was like, do I have like, am I good? Am I too tipsy? No, this is good. So when we were walking out, like the dude was like, kind of like, like, smile at my wife for a weird reason, and then I looked at him and was like,
you gave me a thumbs up.
And that's when I realized I was like, I don't, like, I don't care. So from this perspective, I'm like, it has to be like, I would need to know more about their relationships.
Yeah.
And whether this is just a drunk moment of the dude.
Yeah.
Because it happens. Like, when you're drunk, you tend to do things that are.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And that's why I give them both more leverage, because if there was actually hooking up, I'd be like, but because it was just,
I mean, she was not a participant in this. Only, he came to her
write about it. And just like you said, the best of you, it is interesting to me that she wrote about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying that
because maybe she has, like, I can understand, but maybe she's also feeling like someone who's engaged. She would want someone to tell her if her husband did, but yet you wonder, does she secretly have been? I don't get that impression.
I don't get that impression at all. I think it's more of, he showed up at her. Here's what I think the situation is that, this guy is getting married. He kind of like freaked the fuck out and got like wasted at a bachelor party. Like, dudes, I'm not saying that you can't get like super wasted at your own bachelor party, but it's always a bad sign when the groom or even the bride is just getting wasted all the time going up into the wedding. Like, that's a sign that
unless you're like me and that's just how you do it. You know what I mean? Scarpetta, Pinot Grigio.
You were like that all along.
I was like that before the wedding, after the wedding, before the engagement. There's pictures of our engagement where we literally both have cocktails in our hands while the sun is up. I mean, it's just, we didn't put the drinks down to get engaged. I mean, it doesn't.
Why would you?
And she was totally surprised. And you can see her in the photo going, with one hand, and she can't talk. But you know what? Didn't spill her drink. I married one of the good ones.
Girl, you did.
Yeah, she's the chosen one.
Yeah. But so what I think happened is that, this guy's getting married. He's freaking out. He gets wasted. And then in his drunken haze, thinks, because he's in the area, he's like, I'm going to go over to Melissa's house. So he shows up at her house. And, these are all things that he would not do sober, right? So he goes and, obviously like makes a fool of himself. Now, and these are, and also what's really crucial, I think, about this is the timing. That it's literally the night before the wedding.
But is it the night? I don't believe it's actually night.
I don't know if it's
because it's the bachelor party now. That's the way it was phrased.
As far as the timing is,
there you go. There's some legal.
Is it the blood? Are we in the blood of Christ? Or
are you a lawyer? Because that was really good.
Well, this question, I think the question is like, so it's the. Maybe it's the day in between.
I think.
So is the night before he was drunk, rest day, wedding day.
No, I think if I have to be technical, if we're going to be real, that analytical. If it's bachelor party, I think there's a few more weeks. I think because
not everyone.
No,
really?
Yeah. Some people actually. You're right. Some people do it.
I know, maybe
right before. Yeah.
Ooh, then that's a lot of pressure.
I watched the movie. I saw Bradley Cooper. It took.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah, but yeah. So
I don't. So I'll go back. Yeah, it's not worth saying. I think he was just drunk. If there had been some kind of extra
like physical advance,
then I could see something. But I think, like you said, like I used to be a lot more critical of that kind of stuff. But the older I get, you realize like people get drunk, you dumb shit, and it doesn't have to be like. I think we live in this world because of social media and everything that everything has to be rigid and it has to be like you have to like follow this path. But people make mistakes all the time. Yeah. And when we start acting like there's. I mean, think about
That's a good point.
Think about Bill Clinton versus Anthony Weiner. Like, Bill Clinton did, and I'm not even a political person.
Bill Clinton showed up on a lot of women's doorsteps. Do you know how many exes he showed up to during his bachelor party when he was, I'm about to marry Hillary. Have you seen her? Literally every woman I've ever fucked is hotter than Hillary. Why am I doing this? It's the only way I can be president, but half of me wants to be president. Half of me wants to fuck women and aren't Hillary. I'm a man who's torn. I still love you, Sarah. And she's like, this is Sheila. I mean Sheila. I love Sarah and Sheila. Do you still have Sheila's number? Remember that night, you and Sheila?
I like honestly cannot comment on the situation because I love Hillary and what's her assistant's name?
Not Bill.
Not Amal.
Huma.
I love Hillary and Huma so much.
I guess there's a combination.
And I'm so sad about what happened to them in their lives that I can't like objectively comment on it. And I'm just like.
But you do have a
not our point. Well, it's the idea that like with him, like with ideas that what Bill did, like we didn't blink an eye at that back in the day. It was a good old boy or whatever, but also it was because the media we had a different role of media.
As it is today. Today you make a mistake and
it's also like
so you're saying in the sense of that it wasn't we didn't have cancel culture back then.
Well,
we didn't have internet, and I think that's a big difference. It's not even so much.
Cuomo was creepy with a lot of women. Did way less than get blown by an intern at his desk.
That's actually
and did way more of it. Also killed a bunch of grandmas and lied about it. And they were like, "You do not talk to women that way." Wait, you mean the grandmas I killed? No, the lady who worked for. Oh wow.
What's interesting is that I don't necessarily think that we've gotten more regressive in terms of how we think about sex or whatever, but I think the idea is that you like think about like JFK, like you think about all these people that did things far worse, but he
was actually killed by a jealous ex. He was shot for showing up during his bachelor party.
I'm just saying, there's a reason why they called her Jackie O. No, that's not an abbreviation.
Honestly,
of her name.
dude, I do think that there's something to the fact of like I talk to my mom and she blows my mind with the things that she tells me.
Okay.
Like things that happen. And you're like, did anyone know about this? It's
like you're saying as far as like scandal and
as far as just dumb shit people do when they're drinking or just dumb shit people do. And now you're like outraged because you got drunk and you went to
and someone films it once. I mean, That's not good.
Like,
That's
I want to get a little off topic though, but it is true. Like I've seen like 17-year-old kids get in like actual fights, like fist fights, and they're recorded and they're done. You know, like they're like, oh, this kid. I mean, like that's a game changer for someone that's 17.
Yeah.
When you're 17, that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You're showing like it's a dick, like a bigger dick contest. Like it's just you're just trying to show who's the alpha male of the whole gang.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes it worse.
And
like,
so what I'm saying is the point you're making is that you make mistakes. You do, and add the fact that you're drunk, and add the fact that you're like about to get married. You may not be the biggest fan of your fiance for this, based on the fact that, but that's the point, is that I don't think it's that big of a deal if the dude didn't do anything inappropriate when he showed up.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. It's nothing happened. Yeah. Because again, like the fact that there was no physical hookup or anything like that, that's a big part to this. She was completely calm about the situation. Also, like, for me, I'm such a non-confrontational person. If I were in her shoes, I'd just be like, why am I going to wreck my Saturday? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get it to a point, but again,
I'm going to go to dinner with my fiance. I'm going to watch a Hugh Jackman movie. I don't want to I don't want to call some bride and tell her that the guy she's marrying might be a horrible person. Like, I don't want to do that.
Well, it's also not, I mean, like, you're like, at that point, you're like, do you really want to be part of their life?
Right.
Yeah. And
it's also like she's the one dumb enough to actually pull the trigger on this.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
you got out. You don't have to worry about this anymore.
You're
But
trying
that's where it becomes complicated, because you think if you were the fiance of this dude, would you want to know?
Oh my God, how weird would it be if the reason she broke up with this guy is because his last fiance was going to be like, listen, you know what your fiance did? I mean, my boyfriend was going to kill him with a hammer and distribute him around Astoria, Queens. He was going to chop him up. It was going to be a thing.
Yeah,
I would stay. This is one I'd stay at it, because he was, like we said, he was drunk. We all. I mean, I think about this, and I'm like not even that crazy, but I think about this stuff, especially when I was young. I mean,
oh my God,
I really miss the '90s right now, because I think about the dumb things I did, and I was talking about, because
So do I. I'm getting in so much trouble now, even though I'm 97.
I love how Liz is pandering to all the MTV VJs out there.
You know what's funny? You know what thing that I used to do, and this is like as a early 20s. It's such a weird thing that I love. I used to get drunk and like actually enjoyed like calling like exes or like texting people. Like friends, not just girls, but like just like, bro, I miss you. Like,
oh my God, 100% me too.
Dumb shit.
One time it was almost like I was drunk and I acted as if it was like
I'm gonna drink some water.
It acted as if I was almost like sending out Christmas cards to everyone. I was like, I'm gonna Facebook message everyone I haven't talked to in the last year and just be like, what's up? So like the next day, I just have all these like crazy messages, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm so happy to find out I am not the only one who does that.
Not at all.
And that was like,
sentimental
do
shit.
not Facebook drunk.
Well, that's the thing is I'll get all paranoid, because I remember one time. So during the pandemic, because I was able to work remotely, I moved back to my parents, like in the area, and I reached. Oh, I keep forgetting this is live. Oh wow. But I reached out to.
She's going to confess to killing a man with a hammer and chopping him up and distributing him around the store.
Sure, he's not watching because he didn't respond to the email I sent him. But I knew he was single, so I knew he was single, whatever. But I wrote this email to this guy when I was a little drunk. That
pretty hot.
I rented actually I was living near my hometown. I rented an off-season beach house, and I wrote this email and just saying, hey, like, I'm living in the area, like, would love to see you, whatever, and did not write anything remotely inappropriate. Like, I could hold my head high from this email. Mm-hmm. But I knew the next morning I was like, oh my God, I was drunk when I wrote that. And I sent it to like 3 friends to make sure I was okay. Cause I go,
I don't know. That doesn't even really like, if you like vetted it with other people.
No, after the fact.
I vetted after.
You sent it and then
you're like, am I in trouble? Kind of.
Did I make a fool of myself? Whatever. Cause he was
Who cares? You basically sent a you up email.
Yeah.
Like,
but, listen, and this is life, and this is one of the deepest secrets I have, and I'm glad to share with the three of you.
He also killed a man with a hammer.
And
Same
Joel.
night.
It was a dark night, and he was alone. It was easy. It was just right there. No,
I asked him what time it was. He bent down and showed me the back of his head. I hit him in the base of the spine. He went down with one crack. That fucking
it
idiot.
was not even that big deal. No, but I got really drunk one night. This is my last year of university. I went home, and I just blasted "Goodbye My Lover" by James Blunt.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
And,
Great tune.
And opened another can of beer and just wrote. It wasn't even an email. It was like when Facebook was not even utilized properly.
Yeah,
But I wrote a Facebook message to an ex-girlfriend.
Nice.
And I was crying just writing it to James Blunt, and I was like, "This is the best thing ever."
Oh yeah, that is so perfect. It is. There is. If you are drunk
Men do this.
yeah,
too,
but
straight
no, but
up.
if you're drunk and listening to James
Blunt,
Blunt,
I mean,
absolutely, everyone's gonna cry.
And it was on repeat. It was a long.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was just just one up.
it-
It was like
yeah.
you play 5 times.
Someone with a disability singing a beautiful opera on X Factor. Nothing compared to James Blunt when you're drunk. Full stop.
And to this day, whenever that song plays, they remember that day. I'll never forget.
I love that story. That's a
James
great
Blunt
story.
sent that to a security company. They were like, if this guy shows up, I can't have another one of these guys showing up when my fiance's here.
That's
He's going to get rid of him.
Listen to that song. It was so
James Blunt himself was like, I used to really never be contacted by exes, but after the song came out, we had all these late night
Blunt,
messages.
because it makes me think, because I can remember back in I remember that song because then he dated Petra Nemkova. Remember, she was on cover of Sports Illustrated, and then her boyfriend or fiance died. Oh gosh, I did not laugh.
But her husband now, hot as fuck.
He died during. I can't even remember. It was.
She died. So she died. I'll finish the story. So there was when there was that massive tsunami in Thailand.
Yeah, that's
she
right.
clung to a tree and
shit.
survived.
Yeah,
he died.
2003.
Really?
But then afterwards, she totally started dating James Blunt.
That's what
Wow.
he said.
Oh,
It much
wow.
more something than I could, and I giggled, and I'm a terrible
From a
human
tree.
being.
From
I'm
a
giggling.
tree.
I remember that.
I'm
but-
giggling that you giggled.
No, but then what was crazy, so then this is my very long story to something that's not relevant at all. I was at the MTV, I was a filler seat for the MTV Awards in 2006
Nice.
when I first moved to New
Nice.
York, and James Blunt, that's when they were dating, and she was signing autographs. And
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And I sat there, Kanye.
Did someone bring a piece of bark and ask her to sign that?
I did do that.
Listen, that dude, I listen to that music now, and I'm all I can think of is he how is he still alive? His songs are so deep and so Goodbye My Lover. That song, you listen to it, to this day it makes me fucking sad.
I'm getting goosebumps just even thinking about it.
James
It's
Blunt,
very.
is he still, what's he doing now?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
know,
we
he
should
probably
tweet
made
at
so
him.
many royalties.
I feel like he's
this.
kind of
Yeah.
like Norah Jones in the sense that he kind of
oh God, Nora
came
Jones.
out with this amazing album, made so much money, and then was just like, all right.
No,
I'm done,
he got
you know?
canceled because his daughter hooked him up with a friend of her. And it was
All
just
this
like,
to say Rico Papi had to be James Blunt.
yeah, it was
I
just
think
like,
I'm
this
okay.
was fine. This
Get
is
a little
fine.
drunk
It was
and
fun, guys.
distracted.
Yeah.
Okay,
I did this with the Clintons in the 90s. He was president, for Christ's sake. It was not a big deal.
And he was in the British Army or Air Force.
Yeah.
That was the big.
Yeah.
That was his big push. He's probably friends with Prince Harry. Okay, go on.
Totally.
You're-
But yeah,
He wrote that song on Epstein Island. He dedicated it to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh.
You read the inside of the CD
Maybe-
cover and you're like, I can't believe Walmart allowed this to be printed and sold 17
Oh my
million
God.
times. in their
100%.
store.
That's why.
Oh my God.
That's why you haven't heard from him in the last 5 years. is
The
because
picture of Prince Andrew with the kid,
Yeah.
it's James Blunt cropped out on the other side, like,
Dude.
he's like got a guitar and shit.
That's why you haven't heard from him in the last 10 years, is because he knew that shit was going down. He's like, this is not cool because that girl is 14. brain.
Yeah. He got a hold of Andrew years ago. He's like, hey, listen, Andy, we've had some good times. Remember that picture of you with the kid? Can you like chop that thing in half to where like me and the Lindsay and I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be. No. I mean, you can keep me in the rest of the photos. I'm still coming to Thanksgiving.
Guys, I was not expecting this to be this fun.
I know, right? I'm the worst.
Oh my God.
Let me catch up on some YouTube comments because
Oh, yeah.
I've been neglecting it. Joel on YouTube says, I've had so many encounters with my wife's ex. There are now adult children involved and grandkids.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I was a pallbearer for his mom. He has a brain tumor and I still have trouble finding sympathy.
Ice cold.
Yes.
Ice
Fuck
cold.
yeah, dude.
Oh boy.
Still
Nice.
petty after all of these years. I like that. Yeah, that's my favorite Paul Simon song.
Straight up.
Joel on YouTube says, pretty sure that nothing. Pretty sure that has nothing to do with the topic, but the topic and comments made me think of it. No, that had everything to do with the topic.
No, it's very topical.
Amy on YouTube says, Becky with the
100%.
good hair.
Oh my God, Beyonce, don't get me started.
It's Joanne on YouTube. And my sister-in-law says, shit, you took a shot during the ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
That was a wedding.
That was funny.
That was a wedding.
Yes, I did do a shot during the ceremony.
I will say that was like one of the most fun weddings.
Amy on YouTube says, if you want to get involved, that just means you're still not over him.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right, there you go. That's a good point.
Just murder him with a hammer and move on. You don't need to get on Reddit after that. In fact, you don't want to get on Reddit after that.
No.
Nah, no paper trail, no digital trail.
Don't solidify
Right,
those
yeah.
tweets.
No.
I've
No.
heard info if you want to delete a Reddit, edit it first and then delete it.
Really?
Oh, handy.
Because I go on legal advice a lot. And someone wrote about a crime they thought they would be accused of. So if you want to delete something from Reddit that you wrote, change a few words first and then delete it so they'll never be able to find
Oh,
it.
wow.
Instead of I killed a man with a hammer, I killed a man with kindness. And then you just delete it. Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
legal advice on Reddit said. I have not done any of these things.
How legal is that you can do that? I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
I hope that there's some kind of like high profile case that lives and dies on Reddit. And there's like a Matthew McConaughey at the end of A Time to Kill.
You go guilty and then you go edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at the end of it, he's holding up a photo of like the hashtag and the post. You know what I mean? And in passion, just now imagine that the hashtag was white. You know, and he's just like he's super impassioned about a goddamn Reddit.
Thank you for that trick.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
And that was the reason I left Reddit, because I thought you couldn't delete anything.
Joel on YouTube says, y'all have got me once again thinking about stupid shit that I've done. If you ever do a True Confessions episode, book me on an extra hour.
That's a great idea.
Joel says, is it pronounced humma or humma? Asking for a yeah, these are for a little while ago. I would say dear
humma.
Santi, puking on my floor is bad enough.
Not the worst.
Joel said, reading the scroll across the bottom of the screen, the first thing that comes to mind was call her and sing Guess Who Got John's Dick Last Night? Doo-da-doo-da-doo.
Guess who got John's dick last night?
Doo-da-doo-da. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. That's very catchy. That's very catchy.
I mean, YouTube says, Your Honor, the Reddit clearly states.
I would love that if there's like some Reddit moderator that gets called to court.
I was such a late. I didn't start doing Reddit till I used to host a spelling bee at QED, and we were promoted on Reddit, and I'd never been on Reddit before. Like I always knew what it was, but I just
we're late to the game too. I honestly we didn't really start doing Reddit until Yahoo Answers died. We used to get these off Yahoo.
Answers.
Oh,
We thought they were animals on there. The Reddit people are fucking insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Reddit, for people who are listening, who are like, Reddit is my obsession. I've got like 3 or 4 usernames. I have one that's like, okay,
Don't tell the internet what your Reddit names
I'm
are.
not gonna tell them
You're
my
like
actual
basically
name.
doxing yourself.
This true
What are you
Reddit
doing?
confession
No.
is brought to you by Scarpetta
I
Pinot
would
Grigio.
never do
Rico
that.
Bobby Warren.
I have 3 or 4 different Reddit names,
Oh, okay.
depending on what I want to comment on.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And but it becomes this thing where you're like, oh my God, Reddit is whenever I need to look up something,
Yeah, it's crack.
Occasionally, I want to look up true crime scene photos. I said that, and you can find it all on Reddit.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Those prudes on Pornhub fucking took those off, and now I gotta go to the dark web to find it.
Now I gotta go to the
Oh my god! I'm gonna be put on a list, but oh well.
Reddit is it is an amazing place.
I can only come on 4chan as my favorite Garth Brooks song. Did you know
That's what
that?
I'm saying. Like if Q, the QAnon people,
Yeah.
if you wanted to legitimize QAnon, he should have been on Reddit.
He should have been.
Yeah.
Well, there was.
I
the
think
thing
he
is they were on
was.
4chan, and they got booed off.
Yeah.
Which we tried to get questions from 4chan because they're crazy on 4chan too. The only problem, 4chan people, if you're listening, we appreciate your service and your site. It's just that your advice section is just advice. Wide umbrella. You know what I mean? We need dating. I don't like to scroll through these. Hey, I murdered a guy with a hammer. What do I do with the body? And
most of the advice is just be racist. So
and it's
4chan just sounds like where everything that you think could never happen.
Yeah,
happens.
Dude, that's why we wanted it on the show. But they just have they don't have like a dating advice section. It's just advice, period. And it's like I ain't trying to scroll through 25 other fucking things to find one dating question.
Am I in love with my girl? We've been dating for 10 years and I don't know if I should propose. And like on 8chan it'd be like, if she's Mexican, say no. Like someone like really politically and racist.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was the thing is they had 4chan, and then like the real fucking nut jobs got even booted off of that, and they made 8chan, and then I think it's shut down now. Then I think it's shut down now.
Yeah,
but that's where Q lived. That's where Q.
That's a tangent we took for.
I was gonna say so. My final advice for this question is. Don't say shit. If you have something to confess, then go to 8chan or 4chan.
I like what Joe said. What he said, it was great. Oh, not Joe. Amy, or is it Amy?
Who? I don't know.
What was it? What was the advice?
The advice was if you let her know, it's because you're not over him.
Yes. That was Amy on YouTube.
So you're saying she
the
should
official
keep her mouth.
fill-in.
If you don't give a fuck,
No, I agree. Keep your mouth
That's
shut.
where I agree, but I also think there's a little bit of gaslighting on that one, not intentionally, but you know.
Oh, you mean because?
Well, because I go back to if you were in that relationship, would you want to know?
Oh, I see. Because you're like, if the fiance that does not know,
would you want to?
Would you want to know? I mean, like, I really would not want to know.
Yeah.
Just because I'll tell you this, because when I was like, now that I'm married, my wife's like casually dropping drops like QAnon of like when we were dating, and I'm like, oh really? That happened when we were dating?
Yeah.
And it's like, but
ask
at the
her
time,
who really killed Robert Kennedy. I believe the government story on John, but I don't trust anything that happened with Robert.
like she told me this story. I was like casually, we're married and like we're happy. I'm not jealous anymore. Like I really don't care. But like we were like talking, and she's like, oh yeah, when we're dating, like this dude like was hammered, and like I was with my roommate, and he wanted to sleep in my room like on the floor, and I'm like, great. Why do I have to do that shit now? Like, you just keep it to yourself.
You
like, I did not
have to tell me about that.
I don't want to know what I didn't know.
Like, it's small enough that I didn't need to know about it, but it's big enough that I care now.
Yeah,
it's
like,
in that weird middle
like
ground.
now I'm like, I don't care, but I do care that you.
Well, why would you bring it up? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a really interesting thing, and there's no right or wrong.
That's like going to the police station, going like, I sold a guy a bag of weed. But it was before 2 months ago when it was legal. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you making me fill out paperwork? Why are you making me tase you? This is ridiculous.
It's irrelevant, but it pisses you off.
Yeah.
But it's also like it happened right before the wedding. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
But I would agree because there was nothing physical. Why?
Like that should be that should be if don't do it, and this should never be said or like it's done.
It's done. It's over.
I think okay, it's you should probably just kind of let it lay down because it's not really affecting you. Look at the bright side. You're with a guy that's not doing this right now. At least until we get to the next question. Maybe the next question's from and who knows. But like you got a better one. You dumped the shitty one. You're with the better one. So like if fucking just be happy with that. Or your guy should have done the right thing and murdered this man with a hammer. So my advice to you,
I think that was kind of hot.
Hit your head really hard on a kitchen sink to where you wake up and invent the flux capacitor and then drive it in a DeLorean 88 miles an hour, go back to 2 weeks ago and murder that motherfucker with a hammer. Do the right thing.
Awesome. Well, I think we answered that question. Let's do one more quick lightning round.
Yes. Quick lightning round question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, if you have any question you would like to write into Love Gurus podcast, write it to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com, or even better, you must watch every single Thursday live on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We are taking one more from the wild animals on the Reddit.
Last question. What is the least cringe way to ask out a waitress? Is writing my name and number down on a piece of paper and leaving it with the tip a good idea?
I'll bet this is that same dude who showed up drunk to that lady's house. I'll bet it's the same guy. He wrote that shit 7 hours before he did that.
I feel like it'd be less pressure on her that way. Obviously.
This is the beginning of his bachelor party. He's typing this at the beginning of his bachelor party when he ended up on her doorstep.
Obviously, I would want to hit it off with her and build rapport before doing this. But what's the least cringy way to ask out a waitress? I think that's fine. But yeah, I think you can't just drop, unless if you are just some customer that she spoke to, you can't just write your name and number on the piece of paper unless you're smoking hot. But if you think you're smoking hot, you're not smoking hot.
Yes, that is great advice. ABSH, always be smoking hot, people.
Listen, I think that you should let the waitress ask you out. Like
no.
But how do you? But he's
no. I mean,
he's trying to make a move.
What I mean, I didn't mean to like literally like ask, like make the waitress like you.
Yeah.
Like at gunpoint, right?
yeah. Like literally just go and be like, "You're going out with me tonight." No, but like because it's one of those things that they're doing their job.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
she's
right.
being nice to you for
like she's
for
being
money.
nice to you because you're a customer.
Yeah.
So I made them. I do this. The wine is just the truth, man.
No judgment from me.
I really I'm saying too much, but I remember there was this. I went to a restaurant with a friend, and like the waitresses were very attractive, and I remember she was super nice. She was like overly like over the top, like, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
Like, can you like just super nice. And then I'm like, my friend, I'm like, hey, like, there's something here. Right? Am I crazy? And he's like, yeah, man, you should totally like ask her out. And then she's like, okay, guys, it's the end of my shift. I gotta go. It's so great. I'm gonna just take the check. And I just give her like a great tip. I'm like,
yeah.
Yes, in fact,
and then
Amy on YouTube says, if you're going to ask at a waitress, be prepared to leave a 50 to 100% tip.
Yeah,
you
double the check. Double the check. So I went like 50% tip, and I'm like, you've been great, and kind of like buying like her like approval. But but and then I asked my friend. I had the same question, which is like, that was not me who wrote that, by the way. But it was like it was very close, because I asked my friend, I was like, should I write my number on the receipt? Like, and he's like, no, dude, it's the end of the shift. When she gets out of the restaurant, just go and ask her out. Yeah. Like when she's not working. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so we're like creepily just waiting for her to like go. And then she left.
Bro, there's a dark alley right there.
And then there was that dark alley.
Like,
she's like in the alley smoking. Finally done working after a 12-hour shift.
And finally, and then
Santi gets maced. He gets fucking maced trying to get.
Dude, I ran out so fast, and I'm like, and then she just like, I looked. I was like, hey,
She felt like she was being attacked.
No, she was like, she looked at me like, I'm like, we were fucking vibing, man. What are you talking? Like, you don't remember me? I'm like the dude, like table 10. Oh, no. And then she looked at me like, oh my God. And I'm like, I just wanted to like, like maybe you want to get some coffee sometimes. She's like, oh, I was just doing my job.
Oh!
I have a boyfriend.
Wow!
And I was like, bro, you should have told me that before I wrote 50% on the fucking check. Who writes 50% on a check?
Oh my God. I love that she was like, oh man, actually, that's what you were paying me to do.
Oh my God, my job. I'm like, I gave you 50%.
Oh my God, she's my fucking hero.
That's the story of, that's where I'm like, just let her, if she like, just be nice, and if she wants to like, maybe
she'll make a move.
You were probably like young in your kids.
Oh yeah, I was
So,
like 23 or something.
I mean,
yeah.
that's an interesting thing because it's all about age, and I hate to say it, it's all about how you look, and that will. Because I worked retail and I worked at restaurants, and I remember I used to work at a Barnes and Noble in the city, and I still am proud of this. But there was a customer that used to come in all the time. It was super hot, and like he would come in during his lunch break. I'm getting a little heated.
I know. It's like, Liz, you can't even get the story.
Don't tell it was Casa de Papi because then.
But anyway, like we would check. It was hot. Like we would check it. Like it was totally like. And I was in my 20s at the time, and he was, he was a little. It was turned out I was 27. He was 30. So age appropriate was everything. But he was totally hot, and we would check each other out. And I knew like it was hot. And then what ended up happening was interesting. Like I got a job. I got like a quote unquote.
He was Amish and married with 8 kids.
Did I say where? I can't remember. I worked at a bookstore. So I got a job in an office. So I was like, well, fuck, I have nothing to lose. So he came in that day and I go, hey, I have a new job. I'm leaving and here's my number. Mm-hmm. I gave him my number and we ended up going out on a few dates. And he was a total dirtbag, but whatever. But yet, no regrets, but it's an interesting.
There you go. But you did.
Yeah, you shot your shot.
But it's interesting because it was 15 years ago before iPhones existed, and this is the problem. Like, it's always tricky because at the end of the day, like, who cares? A person's doing their job, and I do think it's different when a woman, because a woman has to react differently. Mm-hmm. We're not physically as strong as men, whatever. But you meet people. The point is, like, we meet people. We've lost that art. We've lost that art of talking to people.
Of saying like, hey, we
just say because we hide. Because I can never forget. I went to Iceland a few years ago, and I went as a solo traveler in my late 30s. I know you're very surprised.
Talking to people there is even harder unless you speak Icelandic.
Well,
who the fuck speaks Icelandic? They don't teach that shit in high school.
Everybody speaks English there.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
But I was hanging out with all.
I honestly didn't know that till now. My Icelandic knowledge is very limited.
But here's what was very interesting about it to me is I went as a solo traveler and I hung out with a bunch of people who were in their mid-20s, just not on purpose, but that's the way it worked out. I'm not trying to reclaim my youth or anything. But anyway, so I remember we were at a bar one night and we're all like people from all over the world, honestly. And I was the only one, I was in my 30s and they were all like 20 something. And they're all on their goddamn phones on Tinder.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to meet people.
Right. And the one guy not on his phone, the mountain from Game of Thrones. And you fucked a giant that night. I lit up
probably the opposite of a giant. But the point was, it was funny because I go,
you fucked the little guy?
I didn't do any of that stuff. I'm a good Catholic girl. And my mom is probably not listening, but maybe someone. But what was interesting to me, the point stands that what was interesting is everyone that was under 30 was on their device trying to meet someone. Yeah. And it just kind of amazed me because I go, you're in a foreign country with people you're never going to see again.
Yeah.
Just goddamn go up and talk to them. And I go, and I go, I'm going to show you how it's done. And I'm never this confident when I live in New York, but I'm apparently very confident in Iceland. And I forget the original point of this story. Maybe it was just
no.
brag.
It was the reason of like if the waitress.
Oh yeah.
Is
talking to people. We're so afraid, and so the idea was that these people, we all do it now because even though I didn't grow up with that, I hide behind my device.
You said something that's interesting to me now. It's like if you're on Tinder, you're single, and the waitress is on Tinder, and you set the radius to be very close.
Yeah, that's much less creepy than.
But that's a weird. I don't like that.
But it's creepy. But I think that's much less creepy than what happened in your story, where
I'm chasing her down the street like.
She's like, I have a boyfriend. But interesting.
I bet she even made up the boyfriend.
She
just straight up shot you down.
Liz is like, what a beautiful story.
Let me get the YouTube comment. Amy on YouTube says, "Good for her."
But I actually agree with you.
Show up on her doorstep in the middle of the night, wasted and profess.
Yes.
Good callback.
Joel says, "I walked out the back door of a bar while I was playing with a waitress. there was a black bear in the dumpster behind the building. She said, want to see something warm and fuzzy.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I said, fuzzy, I hope you mean the bear.
Classic. That sounds like a good waitress.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, I do agree that talking to people was better. So
I disagree. I agree with your assessment. I think what you did was we project too much. Like I stand by this. My friend said it best. Online dating is ordering from a menu.
Yeah.
Real person meeting people is eating what your grandmother serves you. For example, I hate fucking peppers.
I like that.
I do not like peppers. I've convinced myself I will always ask them to be more removed. One time I was a guest at my friend's house. She served me a dinner with peppers. I'm not allergic.
Yeah.
I have no excuse. I'm not high maintenance, despite what I made.
You got the palate of a 5-year-old. You don't like anything spicy.
If you don't serve me chicken nuggets, I'm gonna be pissed.
Is there any mac and cheese that I can dunk in the chicken nuggets with my pinky in the I am a classy lady at a classy restaurant.
Exactly. But I ate with my friend. It was a really good meal. And I never, the point is like, it wasn't just what I had to eat, but it was really good. And I'm being like a little bit serious at this moment as I stumble over my speech because I've had a lot of wine.
I know me too. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
But it's that idea that we write things off that we would otherwise accept. And as a woman of a certain age, online dating, that's why I hate online dating, because I know people are going to write me off because of my age, because I'm over 27. But I'm over 40. And so I know that it's a shame because
those judgmental whores write me off because I look like Steve Buscemi if his mother couldn't stay sober for 9 months. I'm tired of getting that shit.
I get written off on online dating because of my face. So
no, but you know what I mean? Like
superficial qualities that when you meet people, it's like, we all say what we want from a menu. Okay, you need
what's your final advice?
Hate that I'm married as well.
What's your final advice then for what's the best way to ask out a waitress then?
I retract. No, go.
I would say just do that. Leave your phone on. Like
just leave your phone on.
Do it because honestly, or go back another time. No harm, no foul. It might make her a little bit uncomfortable, but if you're not a creep.
Yeah.
It depends. Okay, if you're a creep out there, don't fucking do any of this shit.
If you don't think you're a creep, you're probably a creep. Just FYI.
And also, and I hate to say it.
And we're not anti-creep on this show.
We're not anti-creep. I never said that. I was just pointing out.
This question is written by a creep. Like, let's just...
I'm like
98% about
I retract what I said initially.
Okay.
I think you should, if you're not, provided you're not a creep and you haven't murdered anyone.
Yeah.
Easy.
Then just do what you got. You just be ready that there's a 95%
that she's gonna scream and say, "I have a boyfriend."
She's going to break your
heart.
And
also, also think about it. I hate to if you're a man versus a woman. For example, I work near a firehouse every day, and since I'm moving to Spain, I'm probably going to tell them in a few days that I really enjoy walking by them every few days.
Oh, don't do that. Because all you're doing is then encouraging them to catcall every other woman. Well, because they're gonna forever remember that story and be like, yeah, but that one woman said she liked it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: this is what's gonna make me a little bit sad about this story. They've never once catcalled me.
You just gotta let her finish.
You just ruined it all.
I even dressed as a sexy cat woman for Halloween.
I was hoping for the end of it. Yeah.
I really am sorry. I really thought that story was going to be, I just wanted to tell them that they made my day when I can't call them every day.
You got so socially justice warrior right there. You're like, oh my God, cat calling.
I just got roasted.
Yeah.
but that's the whole thing. That's another show. Like that brings an interesting point. Like a woman can get away with saying those things to an extent because I'm not a physical threat to a man. You don't have to worry about.
That's true. If a straight friend of mine ever came to me, you'll never believe what these insensitive bitches said as I was walking by them. It's like I'm just a dick on legs. I'm so tired of that. I just feel threatened by these horny whores.
I'm not a piece of meat, Linda.
Yeah, it's like, bro, just be a piece of meat.
So wait. I really want to know, what do you want to say? Were they just polite? They were like, hey.
They've never once.
Oh, they never.
You're saying.
Oh my God, I keep forgetting this.
You would walk by. You would appear in the windows, and you would say, Hey boys.
Just so you know.
I wanted to let you know that every day I've been walking by and I've enjoyed what I saw.
That same firehouse is on Reddit going, we're tired of being catcalled by horny women that walk by us. I mean, we're trying to stop fires. I know we're hot, but god damn it, we're about stopping fires, not starting them.
Hot.
How dare them?
But I think that, yeah. Okay, I have nothing to add to that.
I blame the wine. I would
love to blame the wine.
Joel on YouTube says, I've never had much luck picking up a waitress. I found that I've had much better luck being drunk and inconsolable. Misery gets all kind of pussy.
Dude, sometimes, yeah.
Suzanne, my name is Joel. I'm probably a creep or at least a perv.
Joel, we love that.
Joel on YouTube says, or Joanne on YouTube says, do her side work. Oh, that's actually pretty
Joanne
good.
has worked at
That's pretty
restaurants.
good.
She gets it.
That's pretty good.
She gets it.
Joel on YouTube says, thinking about my comments here, now I know why Suzanne doesn't follow me on Twitter.
Because I don't follow anyone I know on Twitter. True story.
Joe, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Suzanne doesn't follow me on Twitter.
I don't think I follow a single person I know on Twitter. I
have no idea whether me and Suzanne follow each other on Twitter.
No idea.
I just tag her in a thing each week.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
Don't take it personal, Joe. Don't take it personal.
I have no idea what's going on.
Build your own audience.
Yeah. We have no idea. I like the side work thing. I do like the side. Okay, here's what else we're doing with the DeLorean once we invent it. We're gonna go find young Santi, and we're gonna be like, listen, just go up to her and be like, hey, listen, I noticed you got like a lot of like forks and knives to wrap in napkins and stuff. Like, can I wrap some of those for you?
Man, I was like, hey, I know you're going home, like you're going home now, but tomorrow, let me know when you start. So
I've noticed there's like a lot of candles on tables. Do you guys gotta like put those somewhere or like? What
I don't know if that's even worse.
That's way worse. That's way worse.
There's a side, like maybe in the moment you're like, oh wait, table 10, I'll take it for you.
Yeah. So
before I give my advice, let me do a read for this wine real quick. It's
wait,
got a cool name.
Bit of a pour.
It's got it. Normally I don't do this at the end, but dude, it's got such a crazy name. I have to. I can't not do it.
Oh my god, that is a very generous pour.
Sorry, it's.
My set tonight is going to be very interesting.
Oh, dude, I forgot you're going on stage.
It's still
45.
It's still
where in QED?
No, New York. I have to go to Manhattan.
Oh my god.
Are you looking for the perfect Pinot Grigio to do a drunken set in Manhattan with? Well, then you can't do better than Sweet Bitch Pinot Grigio. If you want to talk about a title that is going after cancer, Poppy, Sweet Bitch Pinot Grigio out of the gate. With the cover of the bottle, it's got a lady on the front that seems to just kind of want to make ice with a guy in a cancer ward and just be like, I'm alive and hotter. Sweet Bitch Pinot Grigio, a combination of fragrant almonds and melon aromas with a fresh acidity. None of them have a flat acidity. They don't. Some of them do, but they don't say it on the back of the bottle.
That's selling point.
All the wine tonight, perfect,
dude. Yeah, the flavors are interwoven and ripe, pear and juicy lemon. Sweet bitch, Pinot Grigio. Whoa, 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 sweet bitch.
Great name.
Whoa, every bitch. Yeah. It was a great song too. I don't even remember. Sweet Thing, I think, was Whitney Houston.
Was it?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Way more Mariah Carey.
Yes, it totally was Mariah Carey.
Okay, so what's your final advice then, Jake, for this question?
Yeah.
My final advice.
Give it.
It would just be like, look, you know that she works there. I'm not saying be creepy and hang out all the time. What I'm saying is you can build a false narrative around yourself. You come in with fake clients. Friends of yours in nice clothes, dressed up. Why are we wearing nice suits? Because I'm selling him a condo. Not just a condo, but like a whole building. A fucking whole stack of condos all on top of each other.
That's very, very elaborate, and I wish I'd done that.
Yes, and you're just going to be on the phone going, no, I'm not going to let that lady blow me for an acting role. That's not how you do it. I'm a faithful guy. I'm a faithful. You don't do that to people unless I'm more of like a humble. I just fuck like I don't know, waitresses or something, even though I'm rich. Even though I'm rich, you don't do that.
Dumpster dad.
But you know what? That's a good advice, actually. You know, that if I done that, like, because I did go to that place often, and after I said what I said, I never came back. But had I taken my time, and just hang out.
All good relationships swim in a sea of lies. And I'm telling you, get the hose out and start filling the pool. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's what you should be doing. Just show up and pretend to have this elaborate.
Pretend to be a good person.
Yeah.
Here's
a pool.
What I told
have a pool.
Yes, have a pool is good.
Start with that.
Yeah.
Start with that.
You don't even need to be in the same generation as him if you got a nice pool. We've learned that tonight. I mean, just be in there and just get on the phone in the restaurant and be like, yeah. You're my pool guy. Clean my pool, my really nice pool, like with a diving board and all that good stuff, and like a swirly little slide that goes on it. It's a nice pool, an infinity pool. Clean my infinity pool. Oh, sorry, I'll take a cheeseburger and grits. Yeah, about my pool. Just get on.
Oh, you know what you could do too? Like you know her name, but you don't want her to know that you know her name. So if her name is Jennifer, you're like, oh, thank you, Karen. Oh no, I mean, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's classic.
Yeah,
that's a good way of going.
Classic. Yeah. Awesome. Well, perfect. I think we answered all those questions.
Absolutely.
We answered them like really, really, really
Thank you
well.
so much to both of our guests. Thank
Yes.
you.
This was a lot of fun. Honestly, I was not I knew it was going to be fun, but
way more. The last time I was on here, I hate to say, it was the day that Kobe Bryant died. Oh my God! And I got bit by your dog.
That's okay because here's the thing: we're Knicks fans on this show. Fuck them. I paid the helicopter pilot to take a dive.
Oh my God!
Love it. Yeah. Under promise and over deliver. We want every one of our guests to come in here thinking they are going to have a terrible time and leave with injuries.
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you to Santi Espinosa. Thank you to Liz Simon. Thank you to all of the people who commented tonight. Thank you to Joel. Thank you to Joanne. Thank you to Amy. Thank you to everybody. Was there? I think I thanked.
No, you got them all.
Yeah. And to all the listeners, until next week, write us questions at loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com and catch us live every single Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Until next week, people. Later.